Welcome. This is the live feed for 10 leads to 10K live, where I will be taking 10 leads, cold leads, and using Lead Deck and turning it into 10K in opportunity and potential GCI in pipeline. If not in the 60 to 90 minutes live, I can tell you story after story that later today or tomorrow morning, it will eventually turn into that. I've done it enough and rinsed and repeated enough times to know that it's only a matter of time. And if I follow the blueprint, it works like clockwork. It works if you do the work. So you can watch the live feed and hang out there, or if you want to get the insider access and actually be able to interact, ask questions, see in more detail some of the work that I'm doing and some of the functionality, etc., you can go to the link in the description or with the live feed here, leaddeck.ai/10K, 10K. And if you want to actually participate, right? So you can hang out here. This is kind of like the parking lot where you can tailgate. You can certainly do that. If you want to come into the arena and be a spectator inside the arena, you can do that by registering for free. And if you want to actually be a competitor or a player or a participant, you can upgrade to the VIP offer that we have. We'll give you 10 of the exact same leads that I will be working in the zip code of your choice, and you can follow along and actually do the work. And who knows, turn that into your own 10K worth of opportunity. We did this last week live, and not only did I get a new client, but at least 2 of the participants, the players, the competitors in the arena did as well. I've got to take care of some housekeeping items, but you can check out the links in the description, and it officially starts at the top of the hour. 10 leads to 10K live. I'm going to actually be doing the work, and you can follow along and participate yourself as well if you so choose. I got to get some other things here set up. So while I'm getting some of this set up, let me share a couple of stories of in real life, what I will be doing on 10 leads to 10K live, what the work that I will be doing and the reality of the results. So over the last week, I'll say since last Tuesday, so 9 days. Okay. Over the last 9 days, despite the fact that I've been, this week I spent most of the time on the road. My wife and I going to Annapolis for a one-night bed and breakfast for our anniversary, and then driving to North Carolina to move our oldest in. Lots of chaos last week as well. All of that said, I have done 2 of the sessions that we're going to do, 10 leads to 10K live. I've done it twice over the last week. And in both of those instances, I picked up new clients. Example number 1. And most of this, or some of this, you can find live streamed on the channel, the recordings. Some of it was just for some of our private clients. But example 1 last week, I called a portfolio buyer by the name of Steve, and the phone number that I had for him was an automated business line. And so instead of me just hanging up and just, thinking, well, I guess I got the wrong number or whatever, I leaned in and got curious. And so it said, press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden it says, press 6 for Steve, and I'm not going to say his last name, but for Steve, last name. Woo, I got the right person. I leave a voicemail. Hey, Steve, this is Josh, blah, blah, blah. The reason what I gave him in the voicemail, and I'll give credit to Sean, the co-founder at Lead Deck, I gave him, or I explained my role, my reason for calling, and I created an expectation for him to reply or respond, which he did later in the day, which I then I answered the phone when he called back, number one. Number two, he gave me his very best email. I sent him more information and details, and we went and looked at a property on Saturday. Later in the week, same thing, a session just like what we're going to do live here today, 10 leads to 10K live. You can register. You can hang out here in the parking lot if you want. Kevin, good morning to you. You can hang out here in the parking lot if you want and tailgate, or you can come in and be a spectator in the arena with me by registering for free. The link is in the description. And if you want to participate, you can actually participate as well. You can upgrade to the VIP. We will give you 10 of the exact same leads that I'm going to work during the boot camp together with you. So anyway, the second session from last week, I reached out to a guy by the name of Steven, and I sent him an email with my role, the reason that I was reaching out, and an expectation to reply. He didn't reply, but the way we've built this blueprint and the system and the whole process, I got a reminder from Google Saturday morning saying, Steve didn't reply. So what do? I hit reply and I put 3 question marks. That's it. Send. Steven emails me back on Saturday. Turns out he has a portfolio with 34 units. He gave me his exact buy box, what he's looking for. And after some interaction on Monday with him, he gave me a property that he wants to sell and 1031 exchange in September. Okay. I'm going to walk through this process. I share that to say that this works if you do the work. And because I've been doing this long enough I've done enough reps, I've done enough volume that I can predictably take the input, the work, with 10 of these types of leads that I'm going to walk through with you live that you can get as well, and turn them in almost every situation into a new client. Sometimes it's a buyer, sometimes it's a seller, sometimes it's both. And this is completely unscripted. It will be live. I may fall flat on my face. And if you want to see it firsthand in the, you want to come join in the arena, you can just register at leaddeck.ai/10K, leaddeck.ai/10K. The link should be in the description, or it's with the live stream somewhere or another for you there. And we are now T-minus we're 21 minutes out from game time, from tip-off, let's say, from getting started. So if you're over here and you have questions, if you're on YouTube or watching the live feed on Instagram, Facebook, etc., you can certainly drop questions, or you can just register for free and come hang out in the arena. Let's see here. Get this going as well. Yes, this is real estate related. This is helping real estate agents 10 leads to 10K live. I will explain exactly who I'm reaching out to, the reason why I start there, and how this all came about, and then I will get to work on actually doing the work live. The premise behind what we're doing here is as follows. Okay, so here's the premise. Let me do something real quick here. Bear with me. So here's the premise. The idea is this. If you took me and dropped me into anywhere in America, pick a zip code, pick a city, and you told me one of my children would be napped, which I guess is what the cool kids refer to kidnapping, napped. I don't know. They would be kidnapped if I didn't put a deal under contract in 24 hours or less. The people that I'm going to reach out to live on this 10 leads to 10K live are those people. They're some of the best people for you to be talking to as a real estate agent for many reasons. And I'll explain why once we go live. Once we actually, we're going live. Once we open up the Zoom room and we actually get started. This is kind of like this is a tailgating in the parking lot, right? Using the analogy that we're using here. And so if you want to join me in the Zoom room, be a spectator in the arena and have access to the chat and see some of the more detailed things of information about these leads and how we're working them and the scripting and all of that good stuff. You can register. The link is in my bio. If you're watching on Instagram, there should be a button with the link. And if you're watching on one of the other platforms, the link is in the description. We'll open up the Zoom room in about 7 minutes. 7 minutes or so. We'll open up the Zoom room. And I see why there was confusion about what this is about, because I need to change the banner. Join 10 leads to 10K live. Register for free at leaddeck.ai/10K. It's leaddeck.ai/10K. Link is in the description. Boom. That should make it clearer. So my apologies for that. There we go. Now we've got the right link scrolling across the bottom there. Once again, the premise is this: take me and drop me into any market, and whatever zip code or city. What 10 people would I talk to first and foremost if I had to put a transaction, a contract together in 24 hours or less? Who would I talk to first? And that's who I'm going to actually be reaching out to live here. I will be tapping to call, tapping to text, tapping to email. And regardless of whether or not I have any luck directly in the 60 minutes or so that I will be doing that live, what I know is this: I have a mountain of evidence that when I do this work, it turns into new client opportunities. Last week, 2 examples. Number 1, on Tuesday, I call a guy named Steve. The first position phone number, the primary phone number listed for him was an automated business line. So I just listen. Tap 1 for this, tap 2 for this, whatever. It gets to tap 6 for Steve and his last name. Boom, I've got the right guy. I leave a voicemail with the role, my role, my role, the reason why I'm calling, and an expectation to reply. Lo and behold, Steve calls me back later in the day. He is now a client, a pocket buyer for me. And we went and looked at a property. I don't know if that will turn into a transaction, but I will do a deal with him at some point, sooner than later. Second example from last week, Stephen. I email him on Wednesday. I live streamed both of these. You can find them on the Josh Shanley coaching YouTube channel. I live streamed both of these. I emailed him. He didn't reply. Saturday morning, I get a reminder from Google, hey, you emailed Stephen. He didn't reply. I hit reply. I put 3 question marks. He replies later that day, tells me his exact buy box. And after asking what we call the magic question for these folks on Monday morning, he also has a property that he will be looking to sell in September. One conversation by email. I now have his exact buy box. He's actually looking at an off-market multifamily property that fits his buy box. And I will be presenting him with preliminary offer options for the property that he gave me. All of this is just following our 3-step blueprint. So we believe in the fisherman's mindset, the fisherman's mentality to real estate, and that we're just playing a game. And the 3 steps are, number 1, we start with buyers, because buyers, without buyers, let's say it this way, without buyers, no one gets compensated. The listing agent, buyer's agent, the person selling the property, they don't get paid if we don't have someone that's bringing the money to the table. So we start there. And using the fisherman mentality, we build our buyer tackle box with 3 different compartments: pocket buyers, portfolio buyers, and institutional buyers. Step 2 is, once we pick the bait that we want to use, what lure we're going to put on the fishing rod, we need to figure out, what pond am I going to go fishing in? Am I going to go fishing for aged expireds, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, for tired landlords, for pre-foreclosures? Do I have my own pond of pocket sellers, old unconverted seller leads? And portfolio buyers also are a great pond to go fishing in, because they have a portfolio of properties. And when we ask the magic question, we oftentimes, in fact, 3 times in the last 2 weeks for me, that magic question has turned into off-market inventory that eventually I will either sell or list on the open market. In fact, I have 4 properties currently pending under contract, with a 5th that we will have pending. We'll get listed and get multiple offers pretty quickly on in a week or 2. That came from this audience and the people that we focus on. If we need to get contracts, get clients as quickly as possible. And that's what we're going to unpack on the 10 Leads to 10K live boot camp. You can register for free. The link is in my bio on TikTok, on Instagram. It's with the video feed. It's in the description if you're watching someplace else. You can hang out. You can hang out and tailgate in the parking lot if you want to stay here and listen in. But if you want to be able to see my screen and interact with the chat, you have to come register. It's free, 100% free. LeadDeck.ai/10K. And if you want to actually actively participate, you can take the VIP upgrade, and we'll get you set up and ready to actually do it alongside me with 10 of these leads in the zip code of your choice. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to open up the Zoom room real soon here and start welcoming folks into there. And again, you can hang out here and you'll be able to listen and see me. But if you want to actually see my screen share and engage in the chat, and a more sort of behind the scenes or behind the curtain view of what we're doing, just register for free. You'll get an email with the Zoom link instantly. And if you want to actively participate on the thank you page, you can choose to do that. Totally optional. But who knows? You might be able to put 10K into your pipeline in the next 60, 75, 90 minutes or so. All right. I am going to go ahead and open up. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Zoom room. Start welcoming folks in there. right now. Oh, look at this. We've got a lot more participants who are signed up. So it should be a ton of fun. A ton of fun. I'm going to be honest and transparent here. One of the things I love most about doing these is I get business. So, I mean, why would I not? Why would I not want to do this and share our blueprint, our strategy, and the technology that we've built that makes it infinitely easier than when I first got in the business, and infinitely easier than even what was working for me last year at this time, which, Sean, I mean, we should have a 1-year anniversary, because we're getting close to the anniversary of the coffee meeting that started it all. We're not going to Annapolis, just for the record. Nice area, but you know. Let's see here. Computer audio. Okay. Boom, boom, boom.
Recording in progress.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. We got people in the waiting room. Love it. Love it. Ba, ba, ba. Spotlight. Welcome. Welcome. We are still about we're still about 8 to 10 minutes away from getting started, and that means there is still time for you to. The analogy we're using is we are live streaming this, right? So if you're watching the live stream, you're in the parking lot, you're tailgating, and you're welcome to stay there. You can come and hop into the Zoom for free at leaddeck.ai/10K, and if you want to actively participate. And you're not already in our Founders Club or in the Accelerator program, you don't currently have a license with LeadDeck, you can actively participate by taking the VIP offer that we have, and you can work 10 leads alongside me together over the time that we're going to do this this boot camp. Wendy says you're going to be back in 7 minutes. Well, we'll look forward to it. I'll get the link in the chat for those that do want to upgrade last minute. And this is going to be a work session. So I will explain the inspiration for this, and a little backstory. We'll do some training, and then it's going to be me doing it alongside anyone else who's going to be an active participant as well. In the arena with me, actively participating. Last week we did one of these, and not only did I pick up a new client, but I think 2 of the participants did as well, and it was a very small group, and it went so well that we decided to do it again, and very transparently, one of the reasons being just about every time I do one of these, I pick up a new client. So, why not? Why wouldn't I? Fun times, fun times. So we're going to get started in about 5 or 6 minutes. If you're watching on one of the live feeds, if you're watching on TikTok, the link is in my bio. If you're watching on Instagram, there should be a link there with it. And if you're watching on one of the other live stream feeds, there's a link in the description. If you're in the Zoom room with us, congratulations. And you'll be able to see when I start my screen share. You'll be able to interact in the chat. We can even open up the line as needed if you have questions, if you're not sure about something. And we'll start with this. This is not. This is a work session, right? So I will explain the the why behind we're doing this, and I'll explain the why behind the 10 leads that I'm going to be working. And then you'll actually see me do it and hear, what am I saying? What am I saying when they pick up? What am I saying on a voicemail? What am I sending by text? What am I sending by email? You'll be able to see all of that. And for those of you that are going to participate alongside, you can be doing it alongside me as well. We can kind of lock arms and do it together, and turn the next what do we got? 75 to 90 minutes into some deals in the pipeline, some gross commission income, potential in the bucket. So this is what we're doing today. Effectively, is step one in our simple 3-step blueprint, and we call this the fisherman's mentality. And it's a simple 3-step blueprint where we start with buyers, because because without a buyer, no one gets compensated. The seller doesn't get what they want, and we as agents don't. There's no compensation to be had. So we start with buyers. Step two is, once we've got our buyer tackle box built, and we using our analogy and our blueprint, there are 3 different compartments of our buyer tackle box. We have pocket buyers, we have portfolio buyers, and we have institutional buyers. Once we've got that tackle box, then we need to decide what ponds are we going to go fishing for sellers in. Are we going to go fishing for aged expireds, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, for tired landlords, for pre-foreclosures? Are we going to go fishing in our pocket seller pond, right? Because many of you on here, you've got a database of some unconverted sellers, or sometimes the people that I'm going to be reaching out to today, sometimes that's the best pond to go fishing in, even though effectively they are also buyers as well. So I'm going to unpack all of that. We're going to do that together. Also, just for whatever it's worth, we are close to version 2 of the One Deal a Week book, which is kind of like our a manifesto, our One Deal a Week manifesto. We reworked it from the original version because I think the process that we have laid out now is easier to follow and understand, and the logic behind it makes a lot more sense, and it's easy for people to pick up and run with and get started immediately, because all of you in this business, there is you have some amount of assets that you can use to get started and to just initiate the fisherman's process for getting more deals, right? We talk about there's really only 3 ways that you can get more clients as a real estate agent: as a shepherd, as a farmer, and as a fisherman. And I love getting business as a shepherd and a farmer, and I get business as a shepherd or a farmer. But when I was relying only on those 2 sources, that's where I was still in the feast and famine cycle. And when I started incorporating this fisherman's mentality and the 3-step process, is when things really started to take off for me again in my business. And the consistent pipeline has been there since this past fall in doing that and following along. If you are a current LeadDeck user or you took the VIP upgrade, right now would be a great time to make sure that you are logged in to LeadDeck on your phone. Logged into LeadDeck on your phone, because that is, if you're going to participate along with me, you're going to want to be logged into LeadDeck on your phone. I would also recommend that you are logged in on your laptop or desktop, because from a workflow perspective, that is best practice. So you can kind of not lose track of who it is you're reaching out to and why you're reaching out, and just some other details and information that might be useful for you. I'm going to keep bringing and welcoming on folks. We're going to do a brief intro, and then we're going to get into actually doing the work as quickly as possible, because I think the demonstration of what that looks like is the clearest way to paint the picture of how quickly and easily you can actually get yourself into conversation with people that turn into connections that then turn into contracts, closings, and compensation for you. So once again, this is a working session. If you're one of our Founders Club members, or you're in our accelerator program and you intend to work alongside me, as when we get to that portion, I would make sure that you are logged into LeadDeck on your phone and on your laptop or desktop. It is a web app. Okay, so you just, whatever your preferred web browser is on your phone. For me, I've got an iPhone, so it's Safari. I'm just logged in on there. Let me pull it up as well. We'll do a proper intro here in a minute or two. I will walk through the thought process and what inspired this, and then we're just going to get to work. There is still time. If you're the analogy that we're using for this is if you're watching on one of the live feeds on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc., you're kind of in the parking lot and you're tailgating, which is fine, and you can stay there. Lots of people do, right? We love going to Penn State football games. There are people that just go and tailgate and they watch the game from the tailgate. It's totally fine. If you want to be a spectator in the arena, you can register for free at leaddeck.ai/10K. The link should be in the bio, or there's a link that you can tap on Instagram, or it's in the description. And if you want to actively participate, right? If you want to actively participate alongside me, you can take the VIP upgrade and actually play along with me as I do 10 leads to 10K live. Okay, we're at 12:02. I'm gonna keep monitoring and allowing folks in as those requests come in, but I want to get moving here and get going so we can actually make good on the promise here. So the inspiration for this is as follows. If you dropped me into anywhere in the United States, any city or zip code in the United States, and you said, you've got 24 hours to get a contract on the board, or some bad people are going to steal one of your kids. The people that I'm going to reach out to live here are the people that I would start with and are the fastest. It is the fastest path to a potential contract. And I'll unpack why. So those of you more analytical, you can understand logically why. And I'll also weave in stories. For example, last week, from sessions just like this, I did 2 of them because it's summertime and I've got 4 kids and things are crazy. So my time blocks are a little bit all over the place. But I did 2 of these. And in those sessions, I picked up 2 new clients. 2 new clients in those sessions. One of them is both a buyer and a seller with a property that he is looking to sell and 1031 exchange into something else in September. And he gave me his exact buy box. The other one is we went and looked at a property on Saturday. I don't think that one is going to work for him. And I don't think we're going to be able to end up with a contract on that. But that's a client who is now a pocket buyer in my phone. For those of you that follow along with our vernacular, he is now a pocket buyer in my phone that at any given time, I can reach out to him with something that would be of interest to him based upon his buy box and create opportunity effectively out of thin air. So I'm going to drop in the chat one more time for those of you that want to kind of play along and participate. And then I need to go and build the audience of 10 people that I'm going to reach out to. And I didn't do any of this because I wanted to demonstrate, literally, I am starting from scratch. I'm not going to use any existing assets other than the skill that I have cultivated by doing this work for weeks and months and over and over and over, which there is no shortcut to that. You just have to do the work. If you want to get better at anything, you just have to do the work. And the older I get, the more apparent that is. That you can get good at anything if you just put in enough reps. My wife and I, on Monday, we went and stayed at a bed and breakfast in Annapolis for our anniversary. And then we drove right from there to North Carolina to move my oldest son in for the fall at Campbell University, where he is playing baseball. And looking back at, like, he was good at a young age at baseball. And I knew, like, there was something there. And yet he would not be where he is at, with even greater potential, if he wasn't committed to reps after reps after reps. He has taken literally hundreds of thousands of swings at this point, and there's no shortcut to that. You just got to put in the work. Now, the process that I'm going to outline and the people that I'm reaching out to is a way for you to shortcut your path to success. So I'm going to give you who to talk to, I'm going to give you what to say, and I'm going to give you how to do it in a way that is both effective and efficient. In other words, how you can get the most output from the least amount of input. And though I work hard and I embrace the idea of hard work, I also embrace the idea, and I think I heard this first from Tim Ferriss, who he was kind of like my first business man crush, let's say. I have a new one now, but I still love Tim. Is minimum effective dose. Minimum effective dose. Meaning, what is the minimum, if I want to lose weight, what is the minimum effective dose for losing that weight? If I want to get stronger, what's the minimum effective dose for getting stronger? If I want to consistently start doing one deal a week, what's the minimum effective dose for me to have enough conversations, for me to get enough contracts or potential contracts to do a deal a week? And that's like the frame that this is from. And for me, the minimum effective dose is, I know from doing this work that starting from scratch, if I do 4 days a week, 1 hour, okay, so 4 hours a week, 4 blocks of 1 hour a week, quickly that compounds into that one deal a week opportunity. And here's also the good news. Like, once you've done it enough and you've worked your muscles strong enough, you've done enough reps and volume, at this point for me, I don't even need 4 a week, right? But like, if you want to guarantee that, that's a good starting point. So actually, let me a couple more things before I'm going to share my screen and actually build the audience of 10 people that I'm going to reach out to. So who are these 10 people and why are we starting there? Okay. Remember the frame. You drop me somewhere, I don't know anyone. I don't have any assets other than my phone and lead deck. That's all I got. Who am I going to talk to? With the constraint of you have to have a contract in 24 hours or less. With the constraint of you have to have a, Dan, I'll answer your question in a minute here. With the constraint of you have to have a contract in 24 hours or less. I'm going to start with portfolio buyers. What does that mean? Okay. What does that mean? For us, the way we define them in Lead Deck is these are people that have a portfolio of at least 5 properties and have bought at least one of those 5 in the last 3 years. Why do I start there? Because it is really hard to talk to those people and not at least get one yes from the following 3 questions. Are you looking for any deals right now? Question 1. Question 2, if they say no, are you looking to add to your portfolio anytime in the next 6 to 12 months? And regardless of whether they say yes or no to either of those questions, we ask the 3rd question always, which is, do you have anything in your current portfolio that you would consider an offer on right now? And again, I'm going to be transparent and vulnerable here with you and tell you this 1 hour block that I'm about to do with you, it's probably only the 5th or 6th one I've done of this kind in the last 4 weeks. And yet, more than 50% of the time where I do this 1 hour block, where the goal is to get through 10 portfolio buyer cards, more than 50% of the time, more than 50% of the time, at least one person from those sessions has something they want to sell. Stephen Toole, the example that it was to me, it was such an important lesson that I recorded a standalone video released earlier this week about that whole process. I sent him an email. He didn't reply. I sent him a bump email on Saturday that was just 3 question marks, to which he replied. He told me his buy box, and then I asked him the magic question. He has a property he wants to sell in September and 1031 exchange, because I asked the question. And that happened all by email. Okay. The other one I got last week was from a voicemail to a landline, on a business landline. He called me back. He gave me his good email, and now I've got both of those things. Dan and Michael, thank you. Do you still work with traditional buyers and sellers, or only investors now? 100%. I do. This bucket, or this audience, plays a role in the process. I closed or settled on a property 2 Fridays ago, I think. I can't remember now, but it was a traditional listing in my market. I still leveraged institutional offers in that scenario to demonstrate unique value to those home sellers, right? So it's just a matter of matching what you're looking for. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now, which, if you're watching on the live stream, on one of the live streams, there's still time for you to go from the tailgating in the parking lot to come be a spectator in the arena. There's no cost to do that. If you want to play alongside me, you can upgrade to VIP. We'll get you 10 of the exact same leads. I literally did none of this work here because, again, I want to demonstrate you can start from scratch at any time with this. So I haven't looked at a list. I haven't built a list. I don't have this audience at all. So much so that Sean, I don't know, who locally should I? Sean's the co-founder. He's hanging out with me here. Hummelstown? Where should I go? Let me think here. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to go. Who did I talk to? I talked to in real estate. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. Here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to look at 17102. 17102. Why did I pick that? Because Steven, the property he gave me that he wants to sell is a rental property that he owns in 17102. But I just used that as a reason to pick this number or this zip code. Okay. It doesn't matter. I have to start somewhere, right? So you have to have some place to start. So I've got 13 cash buyers and 8 active landlord buyers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm actually going to start with the active landlord buyers, and I'm going to create and run. That'll give me 8 of them. Let me just make sure that I get 8. And I'm going to, the constraint for this is 10 leads to 10K. So let's see here. Uh-oh. Sean, never fails when we do stuff live. It said 0. Hold on. Maybe I already have them in here. Maybe I need to pick a different zip code that I definitely have never worked before. Let me try this one. That's what you get for not, I wanted to make this as real and authentic as possible and not have any of this done ahead of time to demonstrate. All right, I got 4. Let me check something here. And if not, I'll just pick, okay. I only got 4. I'm going to pick a city or a zip code that I know for sure I have never worked, which would be, or I've never used this process for. Let me think here. Let me think. Let's try Elizabethtown.
So first step is really just picking the buyers right now, right?
We start with buyers because they bring the money.
Gotcha.
Yep.
We just need to pick a zip code where we think investors might be looking.
No. Well, I mean, you could, but just pick a zip code. But here's the best place. If you don't know where to start, pick a zip code where you would be excited to do transactions in.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And that could be your personal zip code. It could be an area that you've identified as a growth opportunity. It could be an area where you know the turnover rate is high. Whatever logic you want to use, we have to start with some constraint. And the problem for me on this one is I actually do a lot of this work, and I wanted to start literally from scratch to demonstrate that you don't have to, you don't have to have any existing assets or whatever to just get started. Having a good reason to have conversations, those conversations turn into connections, those connections turn into contracts, and contracts turn into closings and compensation. So I've got Elizabethtown here. I've got 27 cash buyers. I've got 7 active landlord buyers. I've got 3 multifamily investors and 4 vacant land buyers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab these. The idea here again is 10 leads to 10K. So I'm trying to get a pond of 10 leads to go fishing in. So that's interesting. It actually gave me 9. You know what? I'm good with 9. I'm just going to roll with 9. Okay. And if I need a 10th, I'll go grab a 10th somehow or another. So I have this audience now. I have this pond that I can go fishing in. What's that?
Probably a duplicate.
Oh, could be, but who cares? I am going to go to my dashboard. Campbell, go ahead.
Josh, once I pull them, I got about 6 of them that are the big corporate buyers, so I had to eliminate them. How do I run the deck again to add more to it?
You go to lead target and just run more.
Okay, go back to lead target, pick it there. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
You bet. And Campbell's an OG Founders Club member. Okay, so I have nine portfolio buyers. And in a moment, I'm going to switch over to my phone and literally just start tapping to call, to text, and to email. Before I do that, I want to illustrate in more detail why we start with these folks and how we have built the technology to give you good reason to reach out, to give you good data to reach out with, and to make a compelling argument to help you have conviction in these being good people to reach out to. So first and foremost, this first guy on the list, which hold on, actually, before I do this, please, in the chat, okay, put the number 1 if you promise not to reach out to these people, okay? Only because I'm going to actually reach out to these people live right now. So don't take the information and try and verify. I mean, you can try and verify that the data is what it is, but don't reach out to them as well, please, okay? I'm doing this to try and demonstrate how easy this business can be when you have a good process and good reasons to have conversations, which is the one thing that you need more of if you want more contracts, closings, and to increase your GCI. Okay. So nobody bother these people or share their information, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So the first one on the list here, what is this green thing that says 12 properties? That's how many properties are in their current portfolio. So right away, I'm pretty excited because I like talking to these people. This address, the first address listed is their primary residence, right? I always ask this. The address at the top is their mailing address.
It's the mailing
yes.
address.
Okay. So that is the mailing address, which in most cases means that's their primary residence because that's where their tax bill is being mailed to. Okay. I don't do anything with this address, which is why I often forget what it means. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. I know that this data is good enough and this process is good enough that I just go get what I need and I get to work. I don't even think about it. Right. It gives you a better indication if they're local or what's going on. Okay. Now, I have easy ways, which these are buttons that I will tap on my phone once I switch over to actually work this card. So I'm going to work through what's in here, and then I'm going to actually do the work. Okay. So you can tap to call, tap to text, tap to email on your phone. Okay. Because that's, look, this thing in our business, this thing equals money. Okay. But you got to use it. Okay. We've got scripts. Okay. Looks like you're a pretty active investor in blank area. Looking for any deals right now? If no, blah, blah, blah. We take you through, and then here's the man. Are there any properties in your portfolio that you might consider an offer on right now? That's the magic question. Okay. Then we've got phone numbers. We've got emails. We've got a breakdown of their portfolio. if I open up the property snapshot, this is the last property they purchased. This might be their primary residence, actually, and they just didn't switch the mailing address, but who cares? We can enhance the skip trace, which goes and finds more phone numbers and more emails, etc. And then some of the functionality I'll actually walk through as I do this work. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, this number's on the DNC. What do I do? What do I do? Well, we have recently released an enhancement that solves or attempts to solve this problem, because all things would indicate this is the best number for, what's his name? Stephen or Scott. I don't know what he goes by, but we'll figure it out. All indications are that this is the best number, but it's on the DNC. So I can tap or click this icon, and it will Google search to see, do I have a legitimate reason to reach out to this person? And lo and behold, I sure do, because it looks like he's an insurance agent and he is actively marketing that phone number as the best number for him to reach him. So in that instance, and I'm telling you, this is what I do. You have to decide for yourself. This is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on Zoom, okay? But for me, that's all I need to justify. Not only is he an attorney, according to what I can see here, an insurance agent, according to what I can see here, but he's also got his number being marketed for a vacant apartment. So I've got the ammunition to feel comfortable and confident in reaching out to this person by cell phone. If not, the second position number is a mobile number as well. Could be a good number for him. I don't know. Then we've got landlines and we've got these emails. And so I'm going to walk through the flow that I follow in this process, which is I call first. If I don't get an answer, I leave a voicemail. I then text and I email. All of it before I move to the next card. Before. I don't move on until I have squeezed out as much as I can from this one. Because one good conversation in our business can be very profitable. It just takes one. CJ in our office had one conversation with a tired landlord earlier this year that has turned into 5 listings for me, 4 of which are under contract, the first of which is settling this Friday. Then 2 more the following week or the next week after that, and then 2 more the second week of September. One conversation. One. These are good people to talk to. His primary residence is either in Lancaster or in Marietta or Columbia. Either of which, if or when it's time for him to move on from that one, I'd love that opportunity as well. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen so that I have it at the ready for myself. But now I'm going to switch over to my phone. Okay? Switch over to my phone.
Tell us how you got there in the dashboard, because my dashboard doesn't look the same.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not seeing that view you're doing.
Yep. You're not on the dashboard then. Dashboard, Smart Deck.
Dashboard to start with, yep.
Dashboard and then
And I
Smart
see
Deck.
Smart Deck, yep. I see Smart Deck, but I'm not having the lead show down below it.
You're not having the lead show down below it. I don't know how that's.
I'll check it, but he needs to reload.
I'm on version 4.0.0.
Yep.
Refresh it, but send me the deck. I'll take a look at it.
Can you send Sean the deck?
Send him what deck?
What deck is not loading correctly for you?
Now, I can get it if I go to Deal Deck, but it's not showing in the dashboard like yours is, and it's not showing with all the buttons that you've got.
That's why I need. Yeah. That's why I need you to.
Go to Smart Deck. Or
I'll shoot him some screenshots real quick if you want me to do that.
just text it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Text Sean.
And just quickly, just so we remove all the encouragement, we click on Deal Deck. We click on, we type.
You do not click on Deal Deck. You're on the dashboard.
Okay, dashboard,
Yep.
and we type in a zip to find our
Well, wait, hold on. Who's talking?
Dan
Dan who?
Navarro.
Okay. Do you have a deck already?
Yeah, I do, but I'm just wondering, like, what if I wanted to pick a different zip code? Like, how do
Yeah.
I
So go to lead target, put the zip code in, go to lead target.
click sellers
No, hit buyers.
and then put my, okay.
Yep.
And then work it from the dashboard.
Yep. And then we're going to work it from the dashboard, specifically the smart deck.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, Stephen, why does it do this, Sean? It doesn't match what I'm looking at the, here he is. For some reason, he's at the bottom on my mobile phone. But so I'm gonna reach out to Stephen, which is the first one that was loaded, and he's on the DNC, which means I can't tap the buttons. But remember, I found good justification as to why I can still call Stephen. So I'm going to hold in the number, and it will give me the options to call or text him. I'm going to call first. Hey, is that Stephen? Yep, Stephen, it's Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling because it looks like you're a pretty active investor in the Lancaster, Columbia, E-Town area, and I was just curious if you're looking for any deals right now. Yep. What kind of deals typically do you? Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. I've got a single family, semi-detached, and then some multifamily that I've been working on. Is there something in particular that you tend to focus on? Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Love it. I'm just taking notes here. That's interesting. What sort of price range are you thinking on that kind of deal? Okay. And you're doing the conversion yourself, like you have your own crews, or? Okay. Well, I certainly can keep you in mind on anything like that. Is that the only thing you would take a look at right now, or are you open to other stuff? Okay, so you do flips as well. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Anything in your current portfolio that you might consider an offer on, other than the flip once that's ready to go? Yeah. Okay. What's the address on the flip, and do you have any idea of the turnaround time on that? Okay. Do you mind sharing the address? That way, if I come across a candidate that might be a good one for it. Okay. Okay. Oh, fair enough. You haven't actually settled on it. Gotcha. Well, hey, Stephen, I appreciate the time. If it's okay with you, I'm going to share my contact info. I will certainly keep my eye out on anything that might fit that warehouse convertible scenario, and then keep me posted on the flip. And I'll keep you in mind on anything else that might be worth taking a look at. I guess one other thing: are you only looking in Lancaster County? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Beautiful. Well, again, I appreciate the time and taking the call. I'll send my my contact info, and hopefully we'll chat again real soon with something that would be worth exploring. Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. Bye-bye.
That was a DNC number 2.
He was on the DNC. Answers the phone. I'll be honest, it was my first of that kind of call today. I mean, I guess I talked to a property owner earlier, but like I'm not in flow in state, right? You saw like that was far from a perfectly scripted conversation. I forgot to ask this, that, and the other thing. And yet I have a crap ton of information and details about this guy. And I have evidence that he can perform. In other words, he's not someone like many of you are getting these messages where you get a text and says, do you have any off-market deals right now? And I'm not opposed to, having those kind of conversations and engagements, et cetera. But I know that this guy can perform. He's buying a property this week that he didn't want to give me the address yet because he hadn't actually settled on, but he's buying a property this week to do a flip. And he's got a crew to do a flip. Okay. So while he's doing that one, he doesn't want to do another one. However, he told me he's looking at warehouses that he convert into apartments, which for me, okay, I like to think about this as, or here's a way to think about this, okay, using the fishing analogy. It's pretty easy to catch bluegills and bass and so forth, right? If you've got a good pond, it's not that hard to catch them. It's a lot harder to catch marlin, okay, right? Like, you got to go in deeper waters. You got to do, you got to have somebody that knows, you got to have a guide, at least if you're me, to help with that. Okay. Trying to find him a warehouse that he can convert into apartments. It's a more difficult bet. And yet I'm going to make note, and I'll show you exactly what I do with this guy's information when this happens. Okay. Because I mean, I want to close the loop on all of you. And honestly, we could just call it a day, but we're not going to. Okay. Stephanie asked, will he buy in Texas? No, he's really only looking in Lancaster County or like the surrounding areas. I lost my train of thought. I now have someone that when I come across something that is what he described, which by the way, CJ just walked in. CJ was I mentioned his story earlier. He also has introduced me to a guy named Tony, who, if anybody has a warehouse that convert into apartments, it's Tony. So I'm going to call him this afternoon to see if I can find what Stephen was looking for. Okay. Number one. Number two, he did tell me he'll look at other deals as well in the Lancaster area. If I'm being honest, I fibbed a little bit when he asked me, what do you got? Okay. Because I don't necessarily have anything in E-Town currently, but I do have off-market deals. That is, oh, sweet, Richard. Yeah, I'll connect with you after. Sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I do have off-market deals. So it wasn't a complete lie. I didn't have anything in E-Town. And the reason that he showed up on the list is because he's an active portfolio buyer, and at least one of his properties in his portfolio is in E-Town. Okay. Thank you for the recommendations. I will definitely connect with Dusty on that. So what do I do now? Well, I told him I was going to share my contact info. So I'm going to tap here, and I'm going to copy the number. And this, I'm sharing what my flow is, like my workflow for this. So I'm going to go to my contacts, and I'm going to pull up my contact card. Okay. And I'm going to share contact. And I'm going to choose, I want to include eXp Realty, etc. I'm going to hit the checkbox, and then I'm going to text him. Okay. I'm going to text him my contact card. I'm not going to stop there, though. Just getting started. Hey, Stephen, period. Thanks for taking my call, period. I appreciate the time, period. I will absolutely see what I can find for you as far as convertible warehouse opportunities. I've got a couple of guys that I could call that may have. something along those lines, period. When you settle on that flip, if you could share the address, I would love to keep it in mind for any potential retail buyers that it could be a fit for. Thanks again, period. Have a great weekend, exclamation point. Now, if I wasn't live streaming and I hadn't already committed to the 10 leads to 10K, I would literally call Tony next. Instead, I'm going to call Tony when the live stream's over. And Tony is a commercial guy that I know in the area that has these kind of opportunities. And here's what I want to have happen. Okay. What I want to have happen is I want to have some reason to get back to Steven later today or tomorrow morning. Even so, best case scenario is Tony has something legitimate for me to share with Steven and for him to take a look at and maybe even start underwriting to see if it would make sense. Worst case scenario, I get back to him and say, hey, I talked to a couple of folks, nothing available or in the pipeline right this second. But again, you're going to be at the top of my list if or when that time comes. Okay. Now, Chris, I think asked a great question. I didn't read it yet, but I'll answer your question in a second. I'm sure it's a great question because I know Chris very well. What else am I going to do? Okay. What else do I do in here before I move on? Number one, I hit the heart button. What does that do? That favorites him for me in lead deck. That way, I want to have as many, what's the word I'm looking for? Like insurances in place so that 3 months from now, when somebody brings me a warehouse that is a potential conversion to an apartment building, that I don't forget Steven. So what does that look like for me? I save him I make note of it in lead deck itself. I create a contact card on my phone, which I'll do in a second. And I push him to my CRM because I want to have layers upon layers of insurance against me not being able to find Steven when the time is right. So already the first call, I graduated someone from portfolio buyer to pocket buyer. And let's be honest, some of that was luck. If I'm being honest, it doesn't always work that way. Okay. But if you do it enough, if you play the game, like, what's the definition? Luck is where skill meets opportunity or something like that, right? Like if you do the stuff enough.
Preparedness meet opportunity.
There you go. Thank you. I knew I was screwing it up, but so what else am I going to do? Okay. Now watch this. Actually, I'm bouncing all over the place. I talked about the fact that you can tap if you tap this, that opens up the Google search. Okay. What I didn't do when I was sharing that is mention that the globe button, if you hit the globe icon, that will do a Google search by his name and mailing address. So it's just more ways to find or justify that. How do we set reminders to follow up? Alex, I'm gonna address that. You can actually do that in here, okay, the bell. But I would also, I'll just say what my workflow is. I would say, hey, Siri, remind me to get back to Steven Landis Monday morning at 10 a.m. So that's set. Now, Alex, you made a great recommendation on our mastermind call on Tuesday, and Sean is working on a way for you to add a reminder to the calendar through the app here. Like that'll be an enhancement that'll be live very soon. Now, how do I save the contact? Watch this. If I tap the star, look at that. I can save him as a contact in my phone. Looky, looky. It's a lead deck lead, Steven Scott, add name, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the checkbox. Okay. But I want to make some other notes in here. Okay. So I open this up. Steven, My phone's being glitchy. Hold on. Open this up. Edit contact info. There we go. Okay. So what else am I going to add? Investor, developer, fix and flipper, long-term hold, Lancaster County, convertible warehouses into apartments. So I save that. That way, I have all of those notes so that when I go to my contacts and I'm thinking, who's the guy that was the warehouse, that wanted to do the warehouse convertible, I can search warehouse and voila, warehouse. Bingo. Right there. What else can I do? Well,
Hey, Josh.
because I have, one second, because I have my Bold Trail integrated, I can push to CRM and voila. You can't see that, but he is now in my CRM in Bold Trail. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Garland talking there, but whoever it was, fire away.
Yeah, Josh, I just noticed that you saved him in your contacts with the wrong last name.
Steve Landis? I don't think so.
It should be Levin.
What's that?
It should be Levin.
Oh, you're right. Thank you for the heads up. And I think what happened is the original tap to contact. Hold on. Let's see here. That's a very new feature. So the saved contact. Well, whatever. Thanks for the heads up, Garland, on that.
Sure.
Okay, hold on. So what is your thought process strategy for maybe getting that flip as listed once it's completed, or is it too early? Way too early. Way too early. Right? Because I have no idea. Did he buy it off market? Did he has an agent? Whatever. That is way too early to have that conversation. Okay? I treat this like a courting process. That would be akin to you meet somebody at the bar and you're like, do you want to go to Annapolis for the weekend? Like, this dude's a creep. What are we talking about? He had no idea who I was. So I'm not going to broach that subject yet. What am I going to try and do first? Number one, I'll do whatever I can to bring him a buyer before he lists it, whatever. Number two, I'm going to do everything I can to bring him the thing that he told me he wants. Even if it's, again, it's a long shot. I'm trying to catch a marlin in the big blue open sea. Okay? A lot harder than catching smallmouth bass in the pond that my son Cole goes fishing at a mile away from the house. Totally different. But at some point I will. And I'm going to, when I have a conversation like that, I take the assumptive close of at some point, this person is going to be a client of mine. Because I'm either going to go find the thing he told me he wants, or I'm going to document and demonstrate the fact that I am looking for that thing for him. And when he decides he's got something in his current portfolio that he might consider selling, he'll give me that information. I'll use that as bait and a reason to reach out, and I'll just play the game. It's just playing the game. Like, I am playing an infinite game. I love playing the game. It's fun. And if you just keep playing long enough, you win. Properly segmenting in Bold Trail. Let's hit on that at the end, because properly is like, that's there's lots of different ways that you can do it. But for me, what that means, I'll answer that question real quick. I mark him as an active lead. I put his primary address, his primary residence address as the address. And then for me, I also set him up with market report based upon the zip code that it's listed as his primary address, and all of that good stuff. So does that make sense? And should I keep moving on, or when I push do the import? Yes, the notes should be importing into Bold Trail. Now, I didn't make any notes on that, but I should have. I should have made notes and then pushed it. workflow, whatever. I got excited, if I'm being honest, right? But what I should have done is made notes in Lead Deck before I created the contact, before I pushed to CRM, etc. And what that would look like is as follows. Okay, so I'm back in his card, on his card. I go add note. I don't like to text. I don't like to type, I guess because I'm getting old. I don't know. But I got this purple microphone. Spoke with Steven, period. He is looking for warehouses to convert into apartments. Primarily interested in Lancaster County. Does not like or is not a big fan of York or Harrisburg areas. He is closing on a property that he's going to do a flip on this week. And he, generally speaking, is more of a long-term investor, but will do 3 to 4 flips per year. I hit stop. It's transcribing. The notes are there. I hit save note. Now, if I had done that first when I had pushed, that would have come through on the contact card and on the CRM. Again, I got a little excited. Don't shoot me. And then when I refresh, this little note icon will be lit up, which means it'll indicate that there is a note on that card. For now, however, I have done just about everything. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm being honest. Okay, hold on, because I want to show, like, fully unpack what I do here. And this is, if you're in our accelerator program, for example, this is part of our done for you setup. Is I now have a contact in my bold trail. I have him. Did he not push in? Maybe I got to check my integration. Well, that's funny. Hold on. Let me push again. I'm going to hit the push. Well, worst case scenario, I'm going to manually add him to my CRM. And then we have set up, and again, we're doing this for people in our accelerator program, where if I add a hashtag, it adds him to my direct mail. I send a monthly market update postcard by direct mail to people like people in my sphere of influence, past clients, etc. And when I have a conversation with someone like this, I take that assumptive close, and I just want to keep reminding this person that I exist and that I can help with his needs whenever they may be, which is very much a farming, shepherding activity. But again, I like that activity. I just don't rely only on getting business that way. All right. Who is next on the list? For some reason, I'll have to figure out with Sean why this happens, but for some reason, the order doesn't match. The order that I'm looking at on my laptop versus desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and clear him for the week. Oh, now it does. Oh, no, it doesn't. So Caesar. Where's Caesar?
And Josh, here's something he needs to update also. When we go through the deck and we hide those leads, they should not show up in the dashboard when we're trying to run them if we've already hidden them.
You've hidden them or deleted them?
I've hidden them. Specifically, these are the ones I've talked to you about before.
Yeah.
Guys out of Texas with 6,000 homes.
Yeah, I'll get with him on that.
You work.
Yep. I'll remind him of that. Okay, next one, Caesar. Mobile number on the DNC. So I tap the icon. And this is good, actually. There's nothing in this that gives me confidence that I should disregard the fact that he's on the DNC. So I'm going to honor the fact that he's on the DNC in this instance here. And where'd he go? Hold on. There it is. I got too many tabs open on my phone. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. mobile number on the DNC, and I don't feel confident in reaching out to that. And the first number listed, there is a landline that's not on the DNC, but it's down on the list. So my guess is it's going to be disconnected. Maybe not. It is, as I thought. And it's actually, yeah, it's listed as a, wait a minute. Yeah. It's listed as a hidden number. Now, he's got 11 properties, a significant amount of equity. What do I do next? So all of these numbers are on the DNC, and I can't justify reaching out. So I'm going to tap to email, which again, I want to illustrate the fact that I picked up Steven, who's got a portfolio of 34 units and a property he wants to sell in September, just from email. Just from email. We've not even had a phone conversation yet. But he's given me like excruciating detail of what he wants and a property that he wants to sell. Like the address and the situation and scenario. This is the wrong text script. Hold on. I have the wrong script loaded up here. So bear with me a second. So I have the right deck, but I don't have the right sequence. So I need to switch it to the investor buyer looking for deals. And then I am fairly confident that I have the best email for this person because it's pastor, his last name @Gmail. Why does that matter to me? Because number one, this email is going to go through. Number two, if he doesn't reply, what's today? Thursday? Sunday, if he doesn't reply, I will get a reminder from Gmail. Hey, Caesar hasn't replied yet. I will hit the reply. I'll put the 3 question marks like I did with Steven, and that will increase the likelihood that I will get a reply there because I don't care what the reply is. I want closure from as many people as humanly possible. Whatever the yes, no, maybe, whatever. Because when they reply, no, not looking for any deals right now. Okay, great. Are you looking for anything or looking to add your portfolio in the next 6 to 12 months? Nope, we're not buying at all right now. Okay, great. Anything in your current portfolio that you would consider an offer on right now? And he's got 11 properties. There's 2 emails here. I'm going to send to both. The other one, I would say is unlikely a good email for him, but I don't care. It doesn't cost anything. And the worst that happens is it bounces. And I don't focus on the bounces. I focus on the ones that get delivered. What you focus on expands. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Before I move on, I'm going to enhance this card because I want to see, are there any other phone numbers or emails that I should try to contact before moving on? And there's a bunch of landlines, which I know from doing this because I've done enough reps that these landlines lower down on the list, they're usually VoIP numbers that are no longer in working, no longer in service. So I could tap here and demonstrate that, and I will, but because I have done the work and put in the reps, I know. Now, if there was a mobile number lower on the list, I would absolutely call the mobile number, but there isn't. Only the 2 emails are there. So I have done at least 4 right now. I've done everything possible from my perspective with this card. And I can confidently move on because I know at worst, 95% certain that's his email, like his real personal email. So I'm going to get a hold of him at some point. For now, though, I'm going to hit done for the week. And I'm going to move on. So I've got Ann Fisher. There is 1 phone number. It is a landline, and it's not on the DNC. So I'm going to start with that. Where's Ann? There. Yeah, hi. I was trying to reach Annie. My name is Josh with eXp Realty. I'm calling because it looks like she's a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County, E-Town area, and I was just curious if she is looking for any deals right now. If you wouldn't mind letting me know either way, this is my personal cell phone, 717-571-0456, 717-571-0456. When I am leaving a message on a landline, I say my number and I say it twice so they can write it down. If it's a cell phone, I mean, it's on their caller ID. Sometimes I'll say it, but whatever. But I definitely, if it is a landline, right, which it was listed as a landline, and I could tell from the voicemail message that it was like, this is obviously a landline. It might even be like the old school like voicemail machine thing, the way it sounded. I'm going to leave my number. I'm going to leave it twice so they can write it down easily. Before I move on, and by the way, it is them, because it was the husband saying this is, I think he said his name was Levi, but it said this is so-and-so and Annie Fisher. So I know I have the right number. But I only have a landline. Is there any other contact info? Maybe, maybe not, because Lancaster, there are a lot of Mennonite and Amish in Lancaster. And I'm not stereotyping, but many of them don't have email or a mobile phone. And so I am going to use that context clue to know that I've enhanced this. It's still just that phone number. I know that's the right person. So I can feel confident that I threw a line out into the water that at some point might get a fish on, because I left a very specific and strategic voicemail for them to reach out. Okay. I'm actually glad this is happening, because I wanted, you could say that I got lucky with Steven. But again, I just do the work. I disconnect from the result and I commit to the process. And I know if I do it enough, it multiplies exponentially over time. Okay, Barbara is the next one. This has one phone number and it says not reachable. So it's on, yep. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not sure. That was an automated business line. Let me check. I wonder if she works there. I didn't get any of the none of the automated messages said Barbara, but I'm going to call one more time and I'm going to try and leave. I'm doing this so I can illustrate something. Yeah, hi. I'm not sure if I have the right number or not, but I'm trying to reach Barbara Swery. My name is Josh with eXp Realty. I promise it's nothing bad. I'm just reaching out because it looks like she's a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County area, and I'm just trying to reach out and connect with her to see if she's looking for any deals right now. If Barbara works there, or if somebody knows Barbara and can pass along my information, my number is 717-571-0456. 717-571-0456. Now, I could have viewed that as a dead end, and maybe it is, but I'm going to do everything possible to create the potential for me to get a bite on the line from this card at some point. And again, last week I made a call. It was an automated business line. Press 1 for this business. Press 2 for this business. Press 6 for Steve and his last name. I leave a message for Steve. He calls me back later in the day. We look at a property on Saturday. I know his buy box. At some point, we're doing business, because that's the way I roll. Before I move on, I'm going to enhance, because it was just that one phone number. And let's see if we can get any more. Aha! Now look at here. I don't know why I changed to that accent. Now I've got more contact info. Still no emails, but I have a different landline. So let's try. Michael, yes, a copy of this will be available. We'll be putting it in the school community because I can't share stuff like this on YouTube, but we'll get it in there for folks. Yeah, hi. It sounds like I might not have the right number, but I'm trying to reach Barbara Swery. I promise it's nothing bad. This is Josh with eXp Realty. I'm just trying to reach her. It looks like she's a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County area, and I'm just curious if she's looking for any deals right now. If you know Barbara and could pass along my information or could pass along her info to me, either way, I would greatly appreciate it. My cell phone is 717-571-0456. 717-571-0456. Thanks. Now I can feel pretty comfortable and confident that well, you know what? There's one more phone number here that's not on the DNC. Oh, no, wait a minute. There's a mobile number not on the DNC. In the 5th position. Let's try that. I'm going to take a pause and double tap on a couple of things after I work this card because I feel like it's an appropriate time to do so. Alex said my mom is on the DNC and she gets multiple spam and sales calls daily. Yeah, look, Yeah, hi, my name is Josh with eXp Realty. It sounds like I have the wrong number, but for whatever reason, this number is associated with a woman by the name of Barbara Swery, and I'm just trying to get a hold of her. It's nothing bad. It just looks like she's a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County area, and I was just curious if she's looking for any deals right now. If you know Barbara and can pass along my info, or if you have her info that you could pass along, I would greatly appreciate it. My number is 717-571-0456. 717-571-0456. Thanks. Okay, so I'm gonna take a minute here to kind of summarize what has happened thus far. I have worked 5 cards, I think, out of the 9. I had the great conversation with Stephen, and I have done this work long enough to know that at least 1, if not 2, of the others that I have worked will come back to me in some form or fashion. In other words, I will get Annie to call me back from the voicemail that I left. I will get Pastor Mella or Mello to reply by the email that I sent. Barbara, that one's a long shot because the numbers, they were saying names that's not Barbara, but I don't care. I've done the work. I'm going to throw the line out there. And for those of you that took the VIP option, or those of you that are in our Founders Club or Accelerator Program, etc., you have access to what we call the wiretap calls. I have several examples of calls like that where it's the wrong person and 2 things happen. They give me the contact info and all like insider intel into this person. And 1 or 2 of them, at the end of the call, the guy's like, I'm thinking about selling. So you just talk to people with good reason to talk to people, and you have childlike curiosity, and you come from a service perspective. In other words, you're not calling on your behalf. I mean, you kind of are, but you're playing the role of facilitator, and you're trying to bring value instead of extracting value from the marketplace. Questions before I could work a couple more cards, and then we're going to come in for for a landing. All right, well, let me do this. I'm going to clear this one from the deck. I will work one or two more, and then we're going to summarize. Let you all know about something special that we put together for some of you who might be interested. And we'll call it a wrap. Okay, so I've got Brian Walsh, 14 properties. Best contact number is a landline. That's what's listed anyway. Disconnected. No big deal. I'm going to hide it so that the next time this one comes up, I won't, I won't have to waste any time. There's another landline listed. Actually, there's two more landlines listed. Let's see. Okay, that one's also disconnected.
Google.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff that I'm going to do yet. Oh yeah, that's the use case for the Google Globe.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. All right, so all three of the landlines, all three of the landlines are not working. So before I do Sean's recommendation, I'm going to enhance, because right now I have no working contact details for this card, but he owns 14 properties. I don't know, there's something here. What's going on? Ooh, okay. So I have another landline, not on the DNC. Okay. We always get people asking, what does this purple thing mean? It means it's from the enhanced skip trace. Okay. That's all it means. So, ooh, and I have a bunch of emails, and I've done enough of this to know, and most likely one of these emails is his real email. So I've got 5 of them, but I'm not going to send the emails first. I'm going to try the landline, the new landline. What's his name? Brian? Brian. Yeah, Brian. It's a voicemail, but it's just repeating the number. So yeah, hi, I'm trying to reach Brian. I'm not sure if I have the right number or not, but my name is Josh with eXp Realty, and I was calling. I know it's a little out of the blue, but I was calling because it looks like he is a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County area, and I'm just curious if he's looking for any off-market deals right now. If you could or he could let me know either way, I would greatly appreciate it. This is my personal cell phone, 717-571-0456. 717-571-0456. Thanks. Left it twice again because it sounded like, I don't know, like it says landline. It sounded like it could have been a cell phone number, maybe. I don't know. But when I'm uncertain, I want to make it as easy as possible for the person to get back to me. So I just repeat my number. Okay, now I'm going to tap to email. Look how easy it is to tap and send these emails. Boom, boom, right? Looking for any deals. That is not what I believe to be the best number or the best email, but I'm going to send all of them because, again, it costs nothing. It takes little time, if any time. And in looking at these and doing this long enough, I actually think the 5th one listed might be the best one for him. So what I can do is when he replies by email, I can star the email that is the good one to make note of that moving forward. What else can I do before moving on? Well, Sean reminded me that the reason for the globe is an easy way to search for his contact info, his name and the mailing address for in other places. And was that the number that I just called? It was. So look at that. So that number that I just called is associated with him in several places. So I left a voicemail with the right person. I feel comfortable and confident in the fact that, was that for me?
Yeah.
Oh. Comfortable and confident in the fact that I've got the right person here. And I left a voicemail. I sent out the emails, right? So I threw effectively 6 lines in the water. And for now, I can mark him done for the week. I'm going to work one more here, which is I've got a mobile number not on the DNC. I've got 2 mobile numbers not on the DNC. And I'm going to enhance before I finish up with this one to see if I can get emails as well. So I'm going to tap the call. And Valentina, the recording will be available in the school community. And we'll session summary and, cheat sheet and all that good stuff. I've got the right number. Paul, absolutely. Jacob, hey, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling because it looks like you are a pretty active investor in the Lancaster County area. And I am just curious if you are looking for any off-market deals right now. If you could let me know either way. This is my cell phone, 717-571-0456. Thanks, and have a great day. If you could please let me know either way. My role, the reason I'm calling, and creating an expectation to respond. My role, I'm Josh with eXp Realty. My reason, looks like you're a pretty active investor. Are you looking for any deals? Expectation to reply. Please let me know either way. I don't care if it's a yes or a no. They say yes, great. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for so I can go find it? He says no. Okay. Will you be looking to add anything to your portfolio in the next 6 to 12 months? He says yes or no. Either way, don't care. Anything in your current portfolio that you would consider an offer on right now. So I left that voicemail. That was Jacob. The next number is a mobile number, also not on the DNC. I'm guessing it's Ruth because both of their names are on the card. So I'm going to plant the seeds with both of them because who knows which of the 2 of them are the one that manages their portfolio. I'm going to wrap after this one, but I am going to enhance it and do a couple more things before I wrap it up and, share some housekeeping items and also let you know for those of you who are lead deck curious and want. Yeah, hi. I'm not sure if I have the right number or not, but I'm trying to reach Jacob or Ruth. This is Josh with eXp Realty. I'm calling because it looks like they are pretty active investors in the Lancaster County area, and I'm just wondering if they are looking for any off-market deals right now. If you know them and can pass along my info, or if you have their info and you can pass that along, I would greatly appreciate it. My number is 717-571-0456. Thanks. Okay, that was, I think they said the Cubbies or something like, Valentina, I'm just using our playbook. Like there's any, like a FSBO for rent by owner, aged expireds, tired landlords, pre-foreclosures. Valentina asked, how am I finding off markets? All right, I'll reach out to wholesalers. I'll reach out to when I have someone that I should go fishing for, there are lots of ponds that we can identify to go fishing on their behalf, whether they're a retail buyer, whether they're a fix and flipper, whether they're a long-term buy and hold, they're looking for there's lots of ponds that we can go fishing in. We just need, we need to have the right bait to have the conviction and the confidence to then go ahead and do that. Before I finish this card, I'm going to enhance the skip trace, see if we can find any phone numbers or any emails. Well, it didn't, but you know what? I don't care because This is Jacob. He said Jacob in his voicemail. And what I forgot to do is tap to text him. I added just left you a voicemail. So, hey, Jacob, it's Josh with eXp Realty. I added in just left you a voicemail. Looks like you're a pretty active investor, blah, blah, blah. Looking for any deals right now. Let me know. Thanks. He is going to reply to that. I can virtually guarantee. So I worked 6 or 7 cards. By this time tomorrow, I have done this enough to know that by this time tomorrow, at least half of them will have replied or responded in some form or fashion. And also, I don't care because I won on the first call. I don't care. Like for me, if I'm being honest, if this wasn't being live streamed and this, that, and the other thing, from that call, I would have immediately just got to work on fishing for Steven. Immediately. That's what would have happened if I wasn't live streaming and Zooming and all of this good stuff. I would have immediately got to work for Steven. I would have taken the assumptive role of Steven is now my client, and I am going to go find him the thing that he wants. If for no other reason than for me to have a good reason to reach out to him again tomorrow with some kind of update on what I have found for him, good or bad. And then also, I want more details on the fix and flip as soon as those are available, because that may be my entryway into doing business with him. Housekeeping items. If you're like Paul and you were on the VIP last week, you're in our accelerator, Founders Club, etc. The replay for this will be available in the school community. We'll make sure that you have access to that, as well as the cheat sheet, session summary, et cetera, et cetera. You can, if now that you have seen and experienced what this work looks like, you want to jump in and try this with 10 leads, like the exact same type of leads, you can still do the VIP upgrade and just do the work this afternoon. Or you're someone that you've already decided this makes sense, and I want the opportunity not just to go and reach out to the portfolio buyers like I did today, but I also want the ability to be reaching out and start fishing seller ponds. You should check out our Jumpstart offer, leaddeck.ai/jumpstart. I'm going to put these links in the chat for everyone. leaddeck.ai/10K VIP is one option. And for those of you who are ready to kind of really get started and have both the portfolio buyers and motivated seller ponds to get working and fully embrace this whole fisherman mindset and mentality, you can check those out. Any questions from the audience before we go ahead and wrap it up? Oh, Lawrence, I didn't see your message. Doggone it. I didn't see your message until now. I would have, happily. Campbell, go ahead.
Quick question. How do I push leads to Lofty from here? Is there an easy integration?
Michael set it up for you.
How do I get a hold of him?
I'll as soon as I wrap up here, I'll send an email. Yep. You bet. So we can, for those of you that are using Lead Deck, your Founders Club, Accelerator, or you've signed up for one of our monthly options, we can integrate with your CRM of choice. Not mandatory, but we can. Bold Trail, Lofty, Wise Agent, Go High Level, FUB, whatever. As long as there's a Zapier connection, we can make it happen. We also integrate directly with Thanks.io for direct mail, which we weren't even getting into today. And we have an institutional offer platform that integrates as well. And at the Power Plan monthly access, that is included as well. Other questions before we move on for the day? Deb, thank you. Dan, thank you. I appreciate it. Why don't, you know what? I've got, will it integrate with Close? Absolutely, Maverick. I mean, we haven't done it with Close, but they have to have a Zapier integration. And so if so, then yeah, there's no way that they don't. Let's see here. Kathy, thank you for that. Will it also work with Compass? Are there zaps? Can you zap stuff into or out of Compass? That would be the first question. And if not, is there some other API? As long as it can be zapped or API, then yes. As long as it's not a closed system. And I don't think Compass is, but that would be a question, and I'd be happy to figure that out with you, Paul. But before I go, I want to give a more specific answer for Valentina and those of you that may be wondering the same. So Valentina asked, how do I find off market? Okay. So I think about it as 7 ponds where you can go fishing. And the ponds are aged expired listings, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, tired landlords, pre-foreclosures. I'm missing one. It'll come to me. And then it's a matter of, actually, this is perfect. Let me bring up, I'm gonna illustrate something, and then I'll show how I would build, one of the examples in Lead Deck. Okay. Let me just bring this up, and then I'll share my screen. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So 7 C's to compensation. We need to choose who or what are we going to be collecting to contact, to get into a conversation, to create an opportunity to connect, which opens the door for a potential contract, which is how we get to closing and we get compensated, which is the 8th C. So when we're thinking about off-market seller ponds, the who could be for sale by owners. It could be for rent by owners. It could be aged expired listings. It could be tired landlords. It could be pre-foreclosures. Maybe that's the one I forgot. It could be existing sellers that you have in your database. And it could be the portfolio buyers, the same people that I was reaching out to here, because all of them in total, the 6 that I reached out to today, I think it was 6. In total, if I add up all their portfolio, there was over 60 properties, because the one had 14 and the one had 12 and the one had 11 and the one had 5 and the one had 7 and one had 8. You add it all up. That's a lot of opportunity. That means the odds are significantly in my favor of something positive happening. Back to the off market. So we choose who we're going to collect. For example, for sale by owners, you can go on Zillow. You can use fizbonanza.com, FIZBONAN, whatever. We are working with them on creating a direct API feed of for sale by owners into Lead Deck. Don't hold me to it. I don't know when that will be live, but it will be a free way for Lead Deck licensees, Founders Club, etc., to get for sale by owners populating into their account. It won't cost any leads. It won't cost any money. You just have to have access to the license. Okay. You can find for rent by owners on Zillow. Okay. Aged listings, aged expired listings. We just go and get them from our MLS and import and skip trace in Lead Deck. Okay. Let me give you 2 though, that is specifically when this is the people that we are choosing to reach out to. Let me give you 2 in Lead Deck that would fit the pre-foreclosure bucket and the tired landlord bucket. So I'm going to do this. So Steven was the guy that I emailed on Wednesday. He didn't reply. I sent him another email on Saturday. He gave me his exact buy box. I now know that one of the areas he's looking for properties in is Carlisle, and he wants multifamily. So I hit preview lead counts. I've got 0 tired landlords, but I've got out-of-state absentee. Okay. And for whatever reason, the multifamily, the tired landlord doesn't show up for, but That's just a data feed. But let's say I want the out-of-state absentee owners. That is a great pond to go fishing in. There are 12 out-of-state absentee owners that own a multifamily in Carlisle, a multifamily property in Carlisle. And so I can reach out to them and say, hey, Fernando, this is Josh with eXp Realty. Is there any chance you'd consider selling your multifamily property at 123 Main Street to a private client of mine? His name is Steven, and he's ready, willing, and able to make you an offer this week. I don't care if they say yes or no. I don't care. But I'm going to go through all 12, and I know that doing this, if I go through all 12 of these, most likely at least one of them is going to be like, maybe, what's the offer? Yes. Perfect timing. We just lost a tenant. We're kind of sick of this thing. Whatever. Let's say I wanted, Carlisle single family. There's 625 tired landlords. Way too many. So what am I going to do? I'm going to stack tired landlord with out-of-state absentee owner, 56. I can guarantee if I reach out to those 56, there is going to be 3 to 5 contract opportunities in the next 30 to 90 days. Meaning they would be ready to entertain an offer in the next 30 to 90 days. What about pre-foreclosures? Well, let's count them again. Here we go. So there are 10, and they're all notice of sale, which is perfect. That's a seller pond. Those are how we go about finding the off-market deals. And the buyer, we use the buyer as the reason to build the pond and go fishing, because that gives us the confidence and the conviction to know that in the best case scenario, they say, yes, I've got somebody who's going to make an offer, and we may have a contract in no time flat. For example, I live streamed this on the Josh Shanley coaching channel. It was late June. It was live prospecting for sale by owners. One of the for sale by owners that I reached out to, the scripting we use is, are you still accepting offers? Yes. Great. If we brought you an acceptable offer, would you pay a finder's fee? He says yes. Great. Do you have a couple minutes for a quick chat so I can verify some information and details about the listing? Which I said in that case because there was only one photo and I was kind of confused on what was happening. So I have a conversation with him. From that conversation and what I can see online, I had a pocket buyer. His name is Russ. I was like, bingo, I think I have a match. I sent it to Russ. He says, I'm interested. It took us about 48 hours of negotiating. Under contract, it settled July, I can't remember, but the middle of July. I never saw the property, and I wasn't at settlement because I was in Nashville with my girls. Okay. Now that doesn't always happen that way, but like direct deposit into my account. Russ was happy. The seller was thrilled. All I did was facilitate a transaction between two willing parties for a fee, which is the literal definition of brokerage or brokering. Do the email responses show up in your email box or somewhere in LeadDeck? No, Stephanie, you should know this. You've been using this for long enough. They're sending through whatever your default email app is. So since you asked that, and because I'm not live streaming this part, my screen, let me show you the conversation with Steven. So the one or two of you on here, they're like, does this Steven person even exist? Are you making this up? Like, did that really happen? Okay. So I sent the exact email that I've been sending on this session. Hey, Steven, or the subject line, looking for any deals right now, Steven. And by the way, the merge field isn't even working right. It says looking for any area deals right now. I got to figure that out, but whatever. In the area. Why is it not saying that? Well, that's why he probably didn't reply, because it seems generic and it's not supposed to seem generic, but never fails. At least once a week when I'm doing these things, I find something that is grammatically incorrect or something. Regardless, he didn't reply. I got the Gmail reminder and I sent this email. Literally, this is the body of the email. 3 question marks. To which he says, always evaluating, blah, blah, blah. 34 units. Here are the 3 places. I love all 3 of these places. And I have an off-market 3 unit in Midtown. So what do I now have? And I already did this. I have a reason to reach back out to Ernest the property owner of the 3 unit that's been dragging his feet on selling it and say, hey, I was having a conversation with a buyer looking for a multi in Midtown. We haven't chatted in a couple of weeks. What's the scoop? Where are you at with this? Okay. To which I said, and then I asked, probably a long shot, but do you have anything in your current portfolio you consider an offer on right now? And what do you know? Email is best for P&L. What's the address? He gave me a cell phone, which I didn't realize. So I was live streaming this, and I did the Google search. But I think because I was live streaming, I just got distracted or whatever. His number is in the Google. Like if I Google search it, it shows up listed as the contact number for vacant apartments. So like I could have called and texted him and shortened the response window, but I'm actually glad it happened like this, because then I can use that as an example. Like, hey, like just try a little harder, dig a little deeper. Okay. So I gave him the address of the multi and asked another question about the one on 2nd Street. And I need to get back in touch with him. To give him an update on the 3 unit in Midtown. So I need to continue that conversation. But this illustrates the point, right? This is a continuum. It's not like, as much as we want it to be like, this linear passion and it works perfectly and I'm getting paid on Friday. It's not how this works in this business. Sometimes it does. I talked to David, I think was the for sale by owner, had him under contract with Russ in 48 hours, bada bing, right? Sometimes it works. I go and find an on-market deal. I reach out to a portfolio or pocket buyers. They're interested. We write a contract and we settle in a couple of weeks. But a lot of times it doesn't. And most of the best opportunities take a little longer. Like it's going to take me some time to find a warehouse that Steven can convert. But the thing I didn't mention, because I didn't remember to mention this, is he said the last one that I bought like this, meaning a warehouse to convert into apartments, I paid $700,000 for, which I know for some of you, you're like, Paul's like $700,000. That buys like a shack in my neck of the woods. But like around here, that's a lot. It takes a little bit of time to have that come to fruition. But when you have good reasons to have when you have good reasons to have conversations with people that are, for one reason or another, more predisposed to needing your help and service, that's how you proactively play the fisherman game. Oh, I got wound up there at the end. All right. The links are in the chat. The replays and the cheat sheet, et cetera, will be up, if not later today, first thing in the morning. And Sean's on a doctor's appointment. I don't know why I said that. I guess that's why you left. And if you have questions about either the accelerator program or the licensing options, please don't hesitate to reach out. Appreciate you all.